Hey, what's up guys? Evolved Royal recruits just charged to an entirely new level of beyond brainless. With their new traveling companion of evolved wall breakers, they sprint at high speeds, creating ample problems and stress for even the best players in the world that are trying to defend. With recruit shields and evolved wall breakers' second lives, this deck feels unkillable. When you're up elixir and spam at the river with the evolution, you're guaranteed to take tower. And unlike a minor poison or hog rider cycle deck where you have to throw multiple win conditions and orchestrate offenses successfully, you just spam one card and it practically plays itself. When I was pushing up on ladder, this was the only deck that I was losing to. Even though most of the opponents playing this deck had way lower finishes, made multiple mistakes, they still slaughtered me. The ranked 13 player in the world is using this deck, and I'm completely convinced it requires zero skill. If you only have one evolution, use the evolved Royal recruits. The evolved wall breakers are nice to have, but not needed. So it's time for us to charge into the arena to wreck opponents much better than us and collect swift wins to assert dominance. Lots of love to everyone that's supporting the channel with creator code SirTag. Hey, we gotta give us the con artist. So let's see what this sleazy sir has up his sleeves. Okay, he's gonna go in for wall breakers at the start, and we're able to cannibalize them with our recruits. Very phenomenal start for us. Obviously, if he's gonna drop a bait card, we're ready to pounce on it with arrows. However, that's a Valkyrie. That is not the card that we wanted to see, my guy. So if we're playing against Valkyrie, it's probably to be Bomb Tower with Magic Archer and a fast cycle with Spear Goblins. We'll have to wait and see though. Wall breakers are both dead here, and I'm gonna go Goblins. This could activate King Tower, so I wanna go in for Skeleton Dragons as well. I don't wanna give him a free King Tower activation, so I wanna force out the NATO and pull everything back. Usually he would pull it directly to the King Tower since the Goblins are left alone and you can't activate King Tower against those solo Goblins. I'm gonna go for Little Prince right now, and then I'm gonna have to go arrows. Otherwise, both wall breakers connect. Little Prince is not able to pulverize everything fast enough. All right, so we know that he's gonna have Skeletons and Cycle. He's gonna have Log, he's gonna have Bomb Tower, and he'll probably have Miner right now. Let's just go and click the ability. It's gonna be harder for him to defend this without the Valkyrie. Oh, I messed it up. No. Well, it was still gonna die to the Miner anyway. I'm glad that we baited out the Miner and the Log. That's 5 elixir wasted from my guy. Wait, I don't think he has elixir to defend the recruits. Let's just spam him at the river and see if he's gonna shiver. We're gonna deliver a final blow right now. There's nothing. There's no way, dude. There's just literally no shot. I just don't believe it. These recruits are ready to pummel you, my guy. So as you can see, if your opponent ever overcommits into this type of deck, you take their towers and you con them out of the game. So he is really not having a good time. Despite having a Bomb Tower, Tornado, and Log, he got demolished in 1 minute and 30 seconds. It's safe to say the con man got conned out of his towers and completely crushed. He did not have a good game, as you guys can see with the angry faces at the end. And honestly, I don't blame him. Losing to rushing Royal recruits makes everyone raged up in real life. All right, we got a game with the best starting hand possible. I love spamming Royal recruits in the back first play, and it's kind of unfair for any opponent that has to deal with this, because they're forced on the back end trying to defend. Meanwhile, we're going to get back to a recruit's evolution that is going to be significantly harder for them to stop. So in this environment, it's better for us to go for a fireball. Usually they're not going to like drop anything near that firecracker, but sometimes they do. And then you're able to obliterate that and the firecracker as well. Ooh, we're in a Skeleton Dragons here. Recruits are on the tower, so this wasn't even meant to do damage. It was a vehicle to get to our recruit's evolution, and as you can see, we're already popping off. Wait, we can go for wall breakers, and then we can activate King Tower against the Mega Knight with literally no damage taken. Okay, well, maybe not no damage taken anymore. All right. Please activate King Tower. I think it activates King Tower, but at what cost? I mean, the Skeletons are doing so much damage. Stop it. I hate when that happens. When there's Skeletons or Bats or Minions that lock onto my tower, when I activate King Tower against the Mega Knight, it's annoying. But also at the same time, it's exactly how he should be playing. Because if he doesn't do that, he's just screwed. Then he would give me a free Mega Knight King Tower activation. So if you're a Mega Knight player, never leave it unsupported. Give it parental guidance. Give it some support in life. And then the opponent will be less inclined to go in for a King Tower activation like I did there. All right, we're going to arrows here, and we're going to take a ton of damage, but it is what it is. We have King Tower activated, so it's not the end of the world. Also, we kill an evolution and a bandit. So that's 4 elixir and an evolution for 3 for us. Yeah, we took damage, but I think that's well worth it. If you can get away with around, I don't know, a bandit dash and maybe another slap, when your opponent is going in for an evolution Skeletons that can 3 crown, I think we're getting off the hook pretty easy there. Yo, calm down with the evolved firecracker at the river, my guy. Don't do that to me. This is looking pretty dicey. The fact that he's going to do that means that he's not going to have that much elixir for the right, so I do think we take the tower here. However, am I able to stop a fully fledged Mega Knight? I don't know. It's going to go minions, so that's decent for us, making sure that we can just counter it with the right-hand side, eating as much damage as we want, since he hasn't done any damage in that lane. We're going to go for wall breakers so we can start to cycle to the evolution, and he's going to go for wall breakers as well. Let's go Little Prince. I don't want to click the ability, but I think I have to. I don't want the bandit to dash on me if he's going to get any ideas. We go arrows here as well. And we want to start spamming more recruits. The way that you win with this deck is going for recruits and wall breakers. Nothing else. I mean, the other cards do something, but they're not necessarily like the best cards to spam. So we are going to go in for a fisherman here in case he goes in for any spells, and he does. We'll probably go in for a firecracker. Oh, he does. Yeah, no, he does. I was going to say he doesn't, and then he did. I was like, oh, I'm so proud of him. He didn't do it at the river this time. All right, so we're going to go goblins on the right, and then I think we are going to catch him dropping minions, and we can arrows on those and win the game, I believe. There's no way that that locks onto my tower, right? Yeah, we're chilling. And where are the minions? My man, you have to drop those minions. We're going to go in for a fisherman, and then we're going to go for recruits at the river. And as you can see, we just relentlessly keep up the pressure. So whenever you have the opportunity to drop recruits at the river and they charge at the opponent, it's going to cost them so much elixir to deal with. Also, I don't like arrowing here, but I think I have to. There's no other way for the wall breakers to break through. Mega Knight is eventually going to die, so I don't have to spend that much elixir there. In fact, I think it's better for me to just go and eat the damage, go in for this, and go in for skeleton dragons. Because the way I see it is we can fireball on top of the firecracker and also the minions and make sure the Mega Knight doesn't take our tower. Meanwhile, the skeleton dragons and also the aggressive little prince might put him out of his misery. I'm going to easily arrows here. Go and tap our wall breakers plus recruits at the river. We're not going to click the ability because that would limit my potential of going for recruits and wall breakers at the fastest possible second. And this is where we start to just get over the massive aggression that he's not able to stop. So those goblins should be able to kill the wall breakers, and then I think that he just loses the game because we can fireball him. GG, man. Pleasure playing against you and destroying Mega Knight. Also, the sketchy King Tower activation at the start had me wondering if I was going to win or lose, so I'm glad we were able to walk with a win there. So I'm feeling supremely lucky that we were able to sprint towards success in this game. After charging through Mega Knight with Royale recruits, we jumped up the ranks to 4,000 in the world. All right, we got a game against a bear, and it's time to bear arms with our recruits in the back. So you already know, if we can spam our recruits at the starting play, it's the best start, and I'm pretty blessed that we're getting it every single freaking time. I just genuinely don't understand how I can get this lucky in Clash Royale. What did I do to get good karma? By playing a toxic deck, you get good luck? Doesn't seem right, you know? Why is the world rewarding all of the toxic decks in Clash? All right, anyway, we're gonna go goblins here in the back, and then I can go for our wall breakers in the right, and we are going rapper mode right now. We are trying to enhance our attack speed and the movement speed of the cards by talking even quicker. I'm delivering a huge amount of damage on top of the balloon, and there's nothing he can do. That thing is gonzo. Beautiful. I love the machine gun mode of the Little Prince. It's just evaporated Inferno Dragon and Balloon by itself. And now we can bamboozle him with our recruits in the back or at the river. Doesn't really matter where we drop it. Either or will give us value. Oh my gosh. What is the bowler looking at? What is it doing? Does it not realize that there's a Little Prince, that there's recruits? It was targeting a single fisherman. Well, it was a very fishy and suspicious situation for that because, you know, bears are supposed to be countering fishes. Don't they eat fishes? Aren't they the predators of the fishes? But I think we're fishing out a dominant W in this one. There's nothing he can do. Even if he goes in for a freeze, we fireball. If he doesn't, he just loses the balloon and gets absolutely nothing. And we walk away scot-free with a very easy defense and 2 towers. Honestly, I think this guy left. Because there were no options left for him in the game to come back, we snag an easy 3 crown. With these exceptionally speedy wins, we're charging up the leaderboard to 3,000 in the world. Hey, what's up, Leo? So he finished 240 in the world. Definitely want to put his skill to the test and spam him with wall breakers. If I can get a good arrows here, I'll take it. But if we're to go right into Skeleton Dragons, not going to be the play. Generally, if you match into Skeleton Dragons, it means it's going to be a Lava Hound deck. Most of the time, people aren't playing Royal Recruits, but there's still a chance that he's running the same deck as us. So if it's going to be Lava Hound, it's better for us to go recruits in the back. If it's going to be recruits versus recruits, we don't really want to be dropping our recruits first. But now I don't know what I'm playing into. I mean, I bet you it's going to be Golem. Oh, it has to be Golem Battle Healer after seeing the Battle Healer. It could be Elixir Golem, but most times it's going to be regular Golem, especially with Elixir Collector. So our strategy now hinges on the fact that we were able to do a lot of damage on both sides if we split up our goblins and dissect our opponent's small spells. So I don't think this is amazing, but we can go arrows on top of the bomber so we can force out extra elixir. And I could fireball on the Elixir Collector. This is one of those situations where we know the opponent is probably going to go for another Elixir Collector or a Golem in the back, depending on what he's feeling. We want to isolate the Battle Healer away from the Golem so he can't build up big, scary pushes. So our strategy right now is to go for wall breakers, try to force out something, but he's going to go balls to the walls with Golem. The difficulty now is Fireball plus Arrows does kill an Electro Dragon. However, he's going to have a Battle Healer, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get the trade that I want. I'm still going to go for my Little Prince last possible second, and I think I am going to be able to go for the Fireball plus Arrows if I hit it correctly. Or what we can do here is we can use our Fisherman and go and pull the Golem as much as we possibly can to the other side. Even if he tries the Tornado, I think we're going to be okay. Because I can go recruits here, keep the Electro Dragon far enough away so it's not able to chain onto our Little Prince, and Little Prince retargets on the Electro Dragon, I believe. Perfect! That's exactly how I envisioned it. If I got greedy when tried to go for the King Tower activation, he might have tornadoed it, messed me up, and I would have lost the game. So dropping the Fisherman in that spot means that it's going to be harder for the opponent to stop it. Also, perfect placement of the Little Prince when we click the ability. So then he wasn't necessarily ready. He thought the King Tower would be, you know, something that we would do. And then he thought that his Princess Tower would put in a lot of work. But all the towers are all messed up right now. Towers are not allowed to even get any shots. So we're going to go for wall breakers here. High likelihood that this gets a ton of damage. And I want to go in for recruits as well, because if I can snag one tower, then I know that all I have to do is defend this golem, and that should be possible for us, especially with Fireball plus arrows. He needs to get a Battle Healer down right next to his Electro Dragon as soon as he drops it. So we're going to Fireball plus arrows. We're going to kill the Electro Dragon before he's able to heal it up. Perfect. See how he tried to use the Battle Healer? If you guys didn't know, the Battle Healer does heal up whatever it is next to when it's dropped. So he tried to get that cheeky play. All right, obviously a difficulty for us, but we can still go for wall breakers to kite his units, and then we can Fireball. This is going to be perfect. Yo, we 3-crowned? I didn't even realize. What was he doing? He just let the recruits run rampant? Truly a golem player of all time. Despite this guy being ranked around top 200 in the world, he didn't even know how to look at his 3-crown. I swear golem battle healer players are playing an entirely different game. They spam in one side and don't have the attention to apply any defense. After winning that one, we pushed up to 2,200 in the world. Hey, we got a game manual. So this guy's a part of an empire right now. So we got to strike back with our wall breakers and see what he's going to do. Oh, really? Yo, no, he's striking back. He's chopping his wall breakers into our wall breakers. It's a Walter world of wall breakers everywhere. I'm going to arrows here and try to get some nice damage. And another Mega Knight player? Clash Royale. It's Mega Royale. All right, well, I would like to activate King Tower Part 2 against this Mega Knight. But most of the time when opponents drop Mega Knight, they drop cards with it. So it's going to be harder for us to accomplish this endeavor. But we're going to roll with it anyway. Maybe not, maybe not. Nope, I lied to you guys. We're going to go for a Little Prince. We're going to click the ability, and we're going to knock away his Mega Knight and his Prince and say that we got the superior Prince up in here. The beautiful thing about this deck is you have a lot of ways of kiting units to the middle. So no matter how many big, charging, jumping, annoying cards that are coming at you, you got the Little Prince, you got the Goblins, you got the Wall Breakers, you got everything under control if your mechanics are solid. So don't get greedy like me and try to activate King Tower at all points in time. I had to stop myself before I wrecked myself. I'm going to have to go for a Fisherman here. I do not think I counter both the Wall Breakers. If I dropped it fast enough, it would have. If I dropped it in the middle, but it targeted the Wall Breaker in the back instead of the one in the front. So pretty big misplay on our end. Anyway, the guy's got bats out of cycle, so this is an awesome opportunity for us to go for Wall Breakers plus recruits. Wait, I don't have Wall Breakers in cycle, but it's really good to go in for recruits right now because he has to Mega Knight and he can't cheaply defend with bats in the air. So if he went bats, he would have to arrows and that'd be a negative trade. But in this situation, he just loses. So we take those, my dudes. We're also going to click the ability after the Mega Knight jumps just to guarantee that the Mega Knight doesn't jump on our tower part 2. And we keep our Little Prince alive. So I think this is another win. Sometimes the games are slightly too easy if you play well with this deck. People simply aren't used to Wall Breakers recruits having a shred of intelligence.
Dominating!
So when you play with a shred of intelligence, you'll be shredding your opponent's towers. You don't even have to remotely play well. Just drop your recruits at the right time, and then you'll be dining on their towers in no time. Recruits are one of the few cards in Clash Royale that practically play themselves. All right, we got a game against the Skeleton King. So is he going to go against his name, or is he going to show us why he's got the claim to fame? I want to go for recruits in the back first play over our evolved wall breakers cycle, just because the recruits are way more tilting for opponents. When you see recruits cycled in the back, knowing that you have to defend for the next minute, it's not a good opportunity for your mental to just run free. So I think this will result in a lot of free wins today, as you guys have seen earlier. And I definitely believe that this Little Prince is going to be able to pulverize that baby dragon. So an opportunity presents itself if we can finish off the tombstone. We can go in for a Fisherman on top of the baby dragon. Maybe he'll go for a poison. Or maybe he's going to be so concentrated on the left-hand side that he can't allocate the poison. He's going to get blasted by 2 wall breakers already. And then our Little Prince locks onto his. If he drops the ability, we got goblins. Huge value. So I don't think he's got Skeleton King in the deck. It's hilarious how the Evolved Knight is just that much better than the Skeleton King that it made someone with the name Skeleton King swap it out of his deck for the Evolved Knight. Clash Royale, you might want to rethink evolutions just a little bit. Anyway, we're going to go in for our evolved recruits at the river. Speaking of evolutions, and I think that they aren't even speaking. They're screaming. They're loud. They're screeching. They're battle crying as they charge through. So I do think I want to go for goblins here so we can tank for the baby dragon. It is worthwhile. Notice my placement. It could have been slightly better, but we want to make sure the baby dragon doesn't hit everything at once. Then we can go and drop our Fisherman on top of the Little Prince, and if he clicks the ability, it's fine. I don't necessarily think he will, but it would be funny if he did. It would go right into our King Tower, and then he would lose because he's got Graveyard. So we always want to give them the opportunity to lose the game, and sometimes they do take it. I'm going to go for a Fisherman on offense on the left-hand side with the wall breakers on the right, and obviously kind of a sketchy spot for us to go in for an aggressive play right now. So I'm going to go for Skeleton Dragons, and I'm going to defend against the Baby Dragon using our Recruits, and then I'm going to tank for it, so then the Recruits are going to allow us to use Skeleton Dragons on defense against the Baby Dragon, and also our Princess Tower, hopefully, against the Graveyard. But no, the Princess Tower is targeting the wrong thing. It locked onto the Baby Dragon, and that is huge damage for our opponent. The one thing I dislike about Graveyard is the amount of damage opportunity that it gets. Despite being a card that locks directly on tower, being able to do over 3,000 damage in one push just doesn't feel right, in my opinion. Anyway, we're going to go in for a Fisherman. He is going to go in for a Poison. That is just to be expected. Pretty bad ability if you're asking me, but maybe you're not asking me. We're going to go for Goblins, and we will have to arrows here so we don't lose the game. Any Goblins that spawn, or any Skeletons that spawn on the other side will not be counted for, so we kind of have to spam as aggressively as we possibly can. That arrows saved me, so now I don't get poison cycled, but I basically have one Graveyard and one poison away from death. So I'm going to go for Skeleton Dragons. I'm going to go for Wall Breakers rushing through in the left. I can't go into the Baby Dragon. That's just a death sentence. The good thing is, he doesn't have a good card cycle right now. He cycled his Baby Dragon. He doesn't have an answer to that Wall Breaker. I can go for Little Prince at the river right now, and look at our opportunity of going for Little Prince on his tower. There's no way! There's no way! The Guardian's locking on the tower, and we walk away with a win. That's what I'm talking about. On the verge of becoming a skeleton ourselves and getting added into the graveyard, we bounce back as the Guardian bounces through and leaps onto the tower for the victory. Definitely a difficult match that demonstrates no matter how dicey it might seem, this deck can always charge back into the game to slice and dice the opponent's towers. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more daily videos, and have an amazing rest of your day.